thing that a child climbs a tree to see is the same thing that the elder sees from the bottom of the tree, says an African proverb. And why? Because the elder stands closer to the roots. And as the Argentinian poet Francisco Luis Bernardes wrote, what the tree has visibly in bloom thrives of what is buried beneath. 45 years ago today, the African-American writer Alex Haley published the epic novel Roots, the saga of an American family. Haley composed his narrative from the stories told by his grandmother. Her stories transported Haley back to his past, to his roots, stretching over several generations. And what Haley discovered in his roots changed his life and transformed the future of his society. Today, the 25th of March, 2021, on the solemnity of the Annunciation of the Lord, the province of Southern Africa is born in the society of Jesus. How did we get to this place? What made it possible for us to stand in this moment of history? The simple answer is one word: roots. Our roots. Today is the fruit of our roots. The province of Southern Africa that we inaugurate today has long roots. Roots that stretch back in time so long, sometimes it is entangled and mystifying. The province that we inaugurate today has roots in historic dates, roots in colorful personalities, roots in colorful peoples, roots in diverse nationalities, roots in enchanted places. Think of the year 1541, when Francis Xavier, one of the very first fathers, the founding fathers of the Society of Jesus, reached the island of Mozambique. Or think of 1561, when Gonzalo da Silveira became the protomartyr in this part of the world, Southern Africa. Or think of the invitation in 1875 from Bishop Richards to Jesuits to come to Grahamstown in the Eastern Cape. Or think of the visit of Chief Chinamora to Chishawasha in 1892. And speaking of colorful personalities and peoples who color our roots, think of the intrepid Augustus Law. Think of the imaginative Henri de Pelchin, the saintly Francis Rickards, the indomitable Peter Prestige, the invincible Domingos Mlauzi. Or remember King Lubengula Khumalo, King Secheraba, Lozi Litunga Lewanika, Catechist Regis Chikwendere and Titus Muyaradzi, the first black student to walk through the doors of our very own St. George's College and remember the laughing hunter, Brother Louis de Wilde, the creative Joseph Monroe, the wisely Cardinal Adam Kozlowski, and Ezekiel Gwembe, the ebullient Lile Kitei, Joachim Chisenpere, the innovative Michael J. Kelly, and Charles Chilinda, the indefatigable Fidelis Mukonori, Pete Henry, Mike Lewis. Or imagine the enchanted places where our roots were planted in Southern Africa. In the courts of Monomotapa, Nengomo, Makunzaguto, Gorongosa, Lufitsi, Graf Reinet, Epandeni, Kachebere, Old Tati, Boroma, all of them historic landmarks of the Zambezi mission. These are the roots that brought us to this place. These are the roots that led us to this moment in history. South African reggae musician of blessed memory, Lucky Dube, sings about going back to my roots. You see, going back to our roots is a risky business. Alex Haley's roots unleashed tragic and traumatic memories of slavery, of cruelty, and of inhumanity. Yes, there is tragedy and trauma in our roots in the Society of Jesus in Southern Africa. For over centuries, our ancestors endured long journeys by foot, by boat, by ox wagon. Many of our ancestors were expelled multiple times from this region. They were separated from one another. And several were martyred for taking the side of the weak and the marginalized and oppressed people. And many were decimated by diseases. And yes, we must not evade the culpability of some of our ancestors who were infected by and even spread the viruses of colonialism, apartheid, and racism in this region. Still, our roots, troubled though at times, held us close and strong, and our ancestors pressed on, creating grammars and dictionaries, opening schools and designing curriculum, building churches and health facilities, establishing missions, farms, agricultural projects, communication projects, spirituality centers, and all manner of Jesuit works. By their labor, they nourished our roots. They tended our roots. And so today, we stand here in this moment of history. But you see, no matter how glorious or even inglorious our past, our roots are neither a graveyard nor a museum of memories. Our roots remain an inexhaustible fount of creativity, innovation, and opportunity. And that is why today we are opening a new page in our story. Because God assures us, like Mary, whom we heard about in the gospel, that while the future of South Africa, the future of this new Southern Africa province, may be unfamiliar and perhaps unpredictable, it is a future pregnant with God's promises and God's dreams for all of us. Like Mary of Nazareth, every Jesuit, novice, scholastic, father, or brother, and every collaborator and partner in the mission of the Jesuits, woman or man, of this new province now becomes a bearer and a sower of living seeds of the future. Each one of us is now sent on a mission to grow new trees of faith and spread new roots of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Today, as we heard in the first and second readings, God is announcing something new. Even in the midst of a pandemic that has shaken our lives severely, God is announcing something new. We are witnesses and we are architects of this new story. Oh yes, there will be many others that will come after us, whose lives will be shaped by what we make of the mission of the Society of Jesus from this moment forward. Women and men, for whom from this moment we too shall become roots, we too shall become ancestors. To work the redemption of the human race, as St. Ignatius of Loyola says in the Spiritual Exercises, God solicited the consent and the cooperation of a Galilean teenager, Mary, to work the inauguration, growth, and progress of this new enterprise, the Jesuit province of Southern Africa. God is soliciting in like manner our collaboration and inviting us to show great spirit and great generosity of heart. When the story of Southern Africa province is told 145 years from today, it will be a story written with our lives, written with our mission. And yes, just like our ancestors, whole new apostolic frontiers and boundaries now unfold before us across Southern Africa and beyond. And these frontiers and boundaries call us to embrace obstacles and ends, like our ancestors, as new challenges to be faced, new opportunities to be welcomed with holy boldness and apostolic aggressivity. Instead of ox wagon, we will ply the roads of Southern Africa with our Amaroks. Instead of telegraph, we are armed with smartphones. Instead of negotiating treaties with kings and chiefs and queens, we will discern, we will network, we will collaborate with all of our partners and collaborators in the mission of Christ to build up the reign of God in Southern Africa and beyond. Our roots are deep. Our roots are strong. Our roots are prosperous. But today is not only the story of how we begin to remember the same glowing moon and stars of Southern Africa that shone brightly on the faces of our ancestors decades ago now mark and shine brightly on our hearts. The same waters of the Zambezi, and the Limpopo, and the Kafue that nourish the journeys of the faith of our fathers and our brothers and our sisters now surge with a new rhythm, carrying us forward, carrying forward our apostolic enterprise. And as we row and row further into the deep, towards new frontiers and horizons, we pray. May God steady our faith. May God lift our hope, expand our love to fill the sails of our apostolic dreams and visions in the province of Southern Africa. May we be emboldened by the prophecy of Isaiah and energized by the announcement of the angel Gabriel that in the province of Southern Africa, God is with us, and nothing is impossible for God. Amen.